In this lesson, we cover mesh light. Using mesh light or mesh light tag, you can convert any object to be a light source. Even though you have different light shapes like disc, sphere, and cylinder, sometimes you might need something more complicated and more specific. For example, in this scene, I want to turn on this neon sign and make these letters emit light. We do have an Arnold Sky that provides a basic environment lighting with an HDRI. Its sample is set to 4, so we don't get any direct noise from this Arnold Sky. In this scene, we have this geometry called neon, and we want to turn it into a light source. So add an Arnold mesh light from the C42A light menu. In the mesh light, you can define a geometry in this mesh field up here. So let's drag and drop this neon geometry and making sure the IPR is running. The next step would be to make sure the light is actually visible, and to do that, turn this light visible option on. And here is our neon sign. Using intensity and exposure values, you can control the amount of emitted light. In this case, let's set the intensity to around 0.3. In order to find out where the noise is coming from, let's go to our render settings and add our direct diffuse and indirect diffuse AOVs. And let's wait for the IPR to see what we get. Now, if you check out the diffuse direct and indirect passes, you notice there is a lot of noise here. The diffuse indirect pass is a bit dark because the intensity of our Arnold mesh light is not too much, and if we increase the intensity to make it more intense and emits more light, the diffuse indirect pass as well will be obviously brighter and will have more information, and in that case you would need to increase your diffuse samples as well. So let's select the mesh light and set its sample to about 5, so this way we can basically clear the direct noise that's coming from this light, and it is visible in the diffuse direct pass. You might need more samples when working with mesh lights, maybe up to 6 or 7 to get a clean direct lighting from it. And for the final render, we can increase our diffuse samples as well to clean up our indirect diffuse pass. You can do that on your own. Now the render is much cleaner. There is an option in the Arnold mesh light called custom visible intensity. If custom visible intensity is enabled, the visible intensity and visible exposure settings control the intensity of the light source visibility separately from the actual light intensity or the light that is being emitted. For now, let's disable custom visible intensity, and to see how this works, let's use an electric pink color, something very vibrant, and set the intensity to around 2. And now if I enable custom visible intensity, you can control how the light source looks separately from the amount of emitted light. So if I want to see the pink light source itself more obviously, I can use lower intensity and vice versa. In this case, let's set the custom visible intensity to around 1.5. Instead of using an Arnold mesh light, you can convert any geometry into a light source by simply adding an Arnold mesh light tag to it. Let's temporarily disable the Arnold mesh light tag, or the Arnold mesh light itself, and right click on this neon sign geometry, and from the C42A tags, add an Arnold mesh light tag and make sure the light is visible again. And now you can have the same set of options that we had in the Arnold mesh light itself. Both the Arnold mesh light and the Arnold mesh light tag produce the exact same results, and it all depends on your workflow. I'm gonna delete the tag for now. Also, you can take the material approach and use the Arnold standard surface shader to convert your geometries into your light sources. Obviously, the result wouldn't be exactly like the Arnold mesh light or the mesh light tag, and the amount of noise that is coming from the Arnold mesh light or the mesh light tag will be less, and cleaning it up will be easier. Now let me create a new standard surface shader and assign it to the neon sign. Open up the shader and zero out its base and specular weight. Then come down to the emission section and increase its weight to 2. Now the shader is going to be emitting light when you apply it to a geometry. Now let's see what we get. It's a bit harder to clean the noise from an emissive shader, so it's recommended to stay with the mesh light or mesh light tag unless you are absolutely have to use the material approach. Compared to a few years ago, emissive shaders have come a long way. We talk about the emission section of the standard surface shader in the shading section of the course. I'm going to delete this material tag and turn the Arnold mesh light back on. And now you can go ahead and try making a clean noise-free render by utilizing your light samples and your sampling settings in the render settings. Just go ahead and do that. So that's about Arnold mesh light and mesh light tag. See you in the next video.